Today's Coach on the Couch is sponsored by Mid-State Technical College. Spring into your future at mstc.edu. Welcome to Coach on the Couch. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski, here at Columbus Catholic, talking to girls basketball coach Ron Wilczek. Coach, let's first start just by reminding the audience, how many years have you been coaching here, and then what keeps you coming back every year?
Yeah, I'll be starting my 5th year here at Columbus Catholic, and as far as what keeps me coming back, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying, coaching high school girls basketball. I like competing, I like being in the gym, but I really like spending time with these young ladies. We've got an extraordinary group of young women here at Columbus Catholic, and they're fun to be around. We talk about teaching life lessons through a game of basketball and some relationships and memories. But I think the door swings both ways. I think sometimes these young ladies teach old guy, some things too. So I'm having fun, and my mindset is, I get to come to practice. And I think someday, if that ever changed where I gotta go to practice, then maybe it's time to, do something different.
Yeah, well, we're having fun. We've known you since the beginning. We had some extra fun with you and your girls last year with our All Access program, so we got to know some of the inside workings and mechanisms of your basketball team, so we thank you for allowing us to do that. Didn't have any seniors on the team last year, but still formed some memories along the way. Maybe pick one of those memories or one of those lessons you learned with you and the girls from last season.
Yeah, great question. I guess the first thing that pops to mind is last year we got off to a really good start, and then we hit a rough patch. And I think we were 7-3 to start, and we hit a rough patch. And some of it's kind of who you're playing, but also how we were playing, and we started not playing as well. And I guess what I remember is just talking through that with the girls, like, hey, what can I do better as a coach? How can I help you? What can you do better? That type of thing. And kind of reminds me of just life in general, like, when in relationships and work and things like that, things don't always go well. So kind of a life lesson in that regard, and I'm hoping some of those struggles last year help us grow and help us play better this year.
One of those games I remember was a game at Spencer. That was, it was a tough one. It seemed like maybe one that you and the girls probably wanted to have back maybe that next day. I talked about no seniors on last year's team. Oftentimes seniors can be kind of that coach on the floor, that leader on the floor. Was that, in a season where you were a game under 500 to finish, was that an ingredient that might have been missing? You have no control over it, but was that something that you felt was missing from the team?
Yeah, we were we had a lot of juniors, no seniors. A lot of them was kind of their first varsity experience. So we were kind of cutting our teeth and growing a little bit. And just to kind of piggyback on your point, that game, yeah, I'm still sour about that one. But I think it's just the opposite. I think Heaven Kin willed her team to victory in the second half there. Talk about like a senior leader and a girl that knew what her last year was all about. And so I'm hoping this year with a bunch of seniors we have that same kind of mindset. So yeah, it could have been a function. A couple times, some of those games you wish you would have had, our shooting percentage. I think off the top of my head, I know a couple of games we were like less than 12% from beyond the arc, and I think we were maybe less than 17%, from two-point land. You just can't win games. You don't shoot the ball better than that.
So with that being said, we'll transition now to this year's team. There is a different energy around here with this year's team because now all of those girls are 1 year older, 1 year more experienced. They got to see players like Heaven Kin or Mosley from Neilsville or those types who were able to put the team on their back at times and take them forward. Is that the type of senior class that you think you have this year?
Yeah, it's a really good senior class. It's a tight senior class. We've got some leaders. I think we hopefully grew and learned a lot last year. I'm excited for this year. I think they're hungry. We've been kind of, around that 500 mark for the last several years. And I think the girls, we handed out some goal sheets and they're kind of coming in, sporadically. But a lot of the girls want to do more than we've done in the past. We talked about, being at or near the top of the conference, making a deep playoff run, that type of thing. We don't talk a lot about winning overall as a program, however, I don't. We talk more about kind of our process, standards, our habits. And I think if we do those types of things and focus on getting better every day, kind of the scoreboard and the record will hopefully take care of itself.
So talk about the senior group one more time before we talk about the rest of the team. a lot of coaches, regardless of the sport, will want their seniors to be a coach on the floor, or will want their seniors to be a gym rat. Will want the seniors to, stop practice at times and to help the other girls. What kind of expectations do you have on a senior varsity basketball player?
Yeah, one thing I've noticed already is like kind of a coach on the floor, like terminology. Every coach and program has terminology, and it's really neat when we're at practice or even a scrimmage last Friday in Edgar, hearing girls like say something that I typically say. When they do that, they kind of got it, and they are kind of being coaches on the floor. We're certainly expecting them to lead us this year. We've got 4 seniors that saw a lot of playing time last year. If you don't mind, I can kind of...
Let's do, yeah, tell us who they are.
Yeah, Jenna Kibble, she's averaged like 12 points a game last year, 8 rebounds. The coaches in our league voted her a first-team all-conference player, and deservedly so. Really, she's a 4-year varsity player. She played some as a freshman and been playing a lot starting since then. Kind of an inside-outside presence. She's big and strong and has good footwork down low and kind of can finish with either hand. But she also has the ability to step on the perimeter and hit mid-range shots and three-point shots. And I like her on a press break. You don't think of a post player as like a press breaker, but she handles the ball well, and she's a really good decision maker and very poised. So we'll use her in that situation in games as well. Haley Zimmerman, she's returning senior. I don't mention all conference player last year, scored like 6 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. Long, also kind of an inside-outside, but more outside than inside. But she's been hitting the weight room a little bit, a little stronger.
Oh, all right.
She's got a little more confidence, and she's finishing a little better inside. Lily Stratman, kind of our leader, our point guard. And I'm not sure we talked about this last year, but the nicest, sweetest girl off the court, but just a fierce competitor on the court, just a warrior. And love how she plays. And then Mira Torbay is another senior, and she's kind of a Swiss Army knife. She can play any position defensively, guard 1 through 5, and offensively, we put her everywhere other than point guard. So, and she's really a neat girl. And there's a country song, I think, one of the good ones, and Mira is one of the good ones. So, yeah.
You had mentioned Lily as well, and I agree. She can do a lot of things. One thing she had trouble with last year was keeping the gum in her mouth. If you remember that
I
from
remember
one of
that.
our All Access episodes. So, a fun group, no doubt about that. Let's talk about your conference, the Clover Belt East. A tough conference. We think back to about 6 years ago. I may be off by 1 year as I kind of mentally go through the Rolodex here, but about 6 years ago, Loyal state champion. About 3 years ago, Colby at state. Last year, Neillsville at state. Those are all conference competitors. How do you go about attempting, for you as a coach and the rest of your staff, to navigate through such a really tough basketball conference?
Yeah, it certainly makes you better going against teams and programs like that. We've got a lot of great coaches in our league. I mean, you don't make the state by accident. You got to have good players, but you need good coaching as well. So it's a tough league. I love playing and competing against good teams. It makes you better come playoff time. Neillsville, as always, is kind of the cream of the crop. And I think I remember the question last year, and you kind of think, oh, we lose a Bell Opelt, they're going to be down, but no, they're not. And you think, oh, they're going to lose to Emma Mosley, they're going to be down. Well, no, they're not. They're loaded, and they're kind of who we strive to be. And so it's always fun competing against John Geyer and those Warriors. And then our non-conference schedule this year has been amped up a little bit. We start with Auburndale on Tuesday, who made it to sectionals. We play McDonald on Thursday. Went to state last year.
Just coming off a state volleyball championship.
Just came off, the athletes in that gym too. And then we play in the Cranberry Classic against Merrill, a Division II school. Yeah. And we got the winner of Assumption.
Yeah, a state competitor from last year, a state champ 2 years ago.
And then Leona Wabino, who went sectional finals in volleyball. So what doesn't kill you makes you tougher. It'll be a good measuring stick for us early in the season, find out where we're at and what we need to work on. You
mentioned those goals and the goal sheets that are coming in. One thing that a team talks about at the beginning of the season is winning a conference championship. Now, you had mentioned earlier being near the top, and I'm sure that's a reference to Neillsville, but can a goal be a conference championship?
Actually, we did something unique this year in terms of our culture and goals, and we did something kind of bold. At the very top, we put state championship. Why not just shoot for the stars and try to hit the ultimate goal, and beneath that is conference championship and regional championship and sectional championship. And like I mentioned earlier, if you're not doing the things daily you need to do, even little things like, sleeping, taking care of your body, hydrating, being a good student and being a good person, those are the kind of the winning things you need to do every single day to build winning habits, winning moments. And I think you need to do that to win games. So we put something really bold on top of our overall goals. We don't focus on that like I mentioned, but it's there.
Lastly, about your conference, the other thing that sticks out in my mind are representatives from different divisions in your conference, and we look to postseason. I know it's tough to talk about postseason in the preseason, but that's what we talk about sometimes. So how do your conference mates help you prepare for the postseason?
Very well. We talked about how well they're coached and how strong our league is, but there's also different styles of play.
Yeah,
we have teams that press a lot, teams that play nothing but zone, teams that play a lot of man-to-man. So we're seeing a lot, and because of that, come postseason, we just we've seen that before, done that. We have our way of doing things. So at that point, it's kind of more how we play than who we're playing.
We talked about your seniors on the team. I'll give you a chance to maybe mention one or two other names of girls that may not have hit their peak last year, but girls we might learn more about this year because of their play on the basketball floor.
Sure. Well, I feel like I got to talk about our juniors. Maggie Callahan has been playing since a freshman, scored 8 points a game or so last year. Really skilled offensively, kind of offensive-minded, and she's kind of got a little wiggle or shiftiness to her game, which is kind of a unique characteristic. She's back, and then we have two other juniors, Sam Casperson, who has had a really good first week of practice. I mean, she is really getting after it defensively. And Courtney Summer is long and athletic, and she's really good on the glass. And we keep telling her to shoot more because she's actually got a great touchdown low. She doesn't quite shoot enough, so we're trying to get her to be a little more offensive-minded. My daughter Gracie Wilczek played last year as a freshman, and I thought had a really solid, freshman season. And then somebody you may not know is Haley Clown. We have an incoming freshman that has been practicing with us and kind of holding her own and doing well. So, we're excited, and I'm thinking about Sam Casperson and her effort. That's kind of our focus this year. Is we need to amp things up defensively. I mentioned our shooting percentage, being not so good in a couple of games last year, and I think defense is something you can control. You can control your effort, you can control your energy, and I think we have to be better defensive. We're going to have a chance in our tough league and certainly against our tough non-conference schedule.
Sam seems to me like an athlete just all the way around. You may have to remind her a time or two not to bring her softball bat to practice, though. That may be one thing. Let's wrap it up by talking about people in the gym. We're not that far removed from when we were telling people to stay out of the gym, so I think it's a good reminder. And for your student athletes, for us on the broadcast team, and everybody else, it's just more fun to have a big crowd. So just remind people and kind of advertise your team that come out and support our girls this year.
Yeah, I think we've got a great environment. We have a small school and a small gym, and not only that, our bleachers are right on top of the gym, and so by that alone, it creates a little bit of energy and atmosphere. We've got Joe Byrle, our public address announcer.
One of the best voices anywhere. Yeah.
Exactly. We've got our band, which Joe always says the best band in the land. You talk about our chocolate chip cookies in the past.
They're great. They are great.
So it is really a cool environment. I'm biased, and we have the gym full of fans, and our band is playing, and hopefully they're watching a good brand of basketball. It's really a great place to be.
Well, Coach, we're really looking forward to the season. It all kicks off today, on Tuesday, and then continues on from there. Best of luck in the season.
I appreciate that. Thanks for being here.
All right, that's been Coach on the Couch with Columbus Catholic girls basketball coach Ron Wilczek. And more Coach on the Couch coming up next. And on the real couch.
All right. Thank you.
Mid-State Technical College. You belong here. Start your classes and get your degree right here, or transfer to your 4-year.
Mid-State Technical College. You belong here. In person at 4 convenient campuses, online or a hybrid.
Mid-State Technical College. You belong here for your Career Accelerator Certificate, a quick way to get ahead in your career.
Mid-State Technical College. You belong here. Register to start this spring.
Get started at mstc.edu.
Mid-State Technical College. You belong here.